Hey folks, Quilly here, and welcome to some Path of Exile. It's the Fall of Oriath expansion, officially released, although I am still only in Act 4 in my character over here. Been doing a lot of traveling, so as a result, I have not had the opportunity to play as much as I might like. I only basically played on the release day, and a little bit today here. I'm, what am I, level 30, level 38 on a character. I wanted to do something a little bit more melee-oriented, decided to go with, like, just full-on Sunder here. Normally I would do, like, a Sunder kind of big smashy marauder type guy, but I caught a couple of references to the idea of like doing a dual wielding Sunder guy being totally fine and viable. I think that like the two-handed smash does more just pure damage, but with going two-handers, first of all, there's a lot of dual wielding talents, and also there's a little bit more sort of available stats, and I think a little bit more defense options available. For example, you can pick up a lot of like, you get a block chance while dual wielding. Of course, you can always go like single weapon Sunder and then use shields as well. So you've got a little bit of options when it comes to one-handed sundering, and it seems to be doing all right. I mean, I'm actually exactly leveled here. My axe is currently just a like a magic thing that I just where is it? Inventory. Just this, that I used the recipe with a rustic sash to go and give it some base increased physical damage, and that's it. And I've done that a couple times along the way to level. I've only gotten like 3, maybe 2 uniques to drop so far, and none of them have been relevant in any way whatsoever. I am playing solo self-found, which I tend to like. I think that's a lot of fun, so I don't get to do any sort of trading or anything like that for gear, so I'm gonna have to rely on what I find. And well, that's always maybe a little bit more tricky with a physical character because you are really reliant on the damage of your weapon. I'm a little bit less worried about my main hand weapon as much as I am about my offhand, which is funny because in a Sunder build, even though like the tooltip on your Sunder seems to include maybe something from your offhand weapon, only your main hand weapon is used in Sunder. Maybe the attack speed from your offhand gets averaged in? I'd have to check on that, but I noticed that as I swapped offhand weapons, neither one of which had any sort of like DPS, like, or any sort of traits on it that should affect my damage. It just had, like some resistance or something like that. It seemed to offset my DPS. It's possible. If it was a sword that gave me accuracy, I think that's a global accuracy gain. So that might have been one of the reasons why the DPS numbers were changing. I think this is the wrong one. Although it might be worth going around and just like getting a few clusters here, and getting some easy XP. So I think that might be it. But yeah, as far as I can tell, Sunder only uses your main hand weapon based on its description. What's funny is before the league started, I spent like about an hour working out a build to, where am I going? I'm going up over here to Tireless, probably through here. And actually the plus int is not a bad thing because now I can level up my concentrated effect gem and probably my clarity as well. It will go and reserve more mana, but I think that's fine. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I spent like about an hour working out like my build. I said this cool idea. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go like a sword Sunder build. I don't see that very often. I'm gonna use swords. There's all sorts of cool sword type talents that you can grab in the passive skill tree. It's gonna be excellent. And then I started playing, and then I got Sunder, and it was like, what? I can't use this with swords? Nope. Only axes, maces, and staves. So I was like, oh, all right. So like redo the build with an axe-oriented thing. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check out the Veracite blade over here. I may as well pick up like more golem gems. My golem is probably dying a lot. I've got to put it on like a cast when damage taken kind of thing, so that it sticks around a little bit longer. So yeah, mostly. So if you don't know, yeah, I'm gonna level up punishment. I don't know if I'm gonna use it as a curse, but I'm like, I put it in one of my my secondary weapon slots. I was like, this will be fine. Sunder is an attack that does this like forward line over here. And it's quite good, and every enemy that it hits, it actually does a little micro explosion around it, so it's pretty good at killing clusters of enemies, and its single target damage isn't the worst either. Let's see if we can kill a batch of people over here. So yeah, and it just uses your main hand or two-handed weapon, whichever attack And that's about it with the little explosions. And it's pretty handy. It's got some pretty good clear for some packs and things like that, and there's a lot you can do with it. Oh, there we go. Found the boss. Excellent. Oops, that's not what I want. I want this. So one of the things that's neat about it is that you can use the concentrated effect gem with it. Because what it does is concentrated effect adds more damage. I should probably not stand here in a second. Adds more damage, not increase, but more damage, which is good to your attacks. It does lower the area of effect, but it doesn't actually lower that smash on the ground. That thing there is not affected by the area of effect of the concentrated effect gem, which is kind of nifty. It does decrease the effect of little micro explosions when you like hit an enemy, but that's pretty insignificant in the first place here. And let myself charge up. That's pretty insignificant. Not something you generally are concerned with, the size of that area, because it's pretty small, I think. And just the added damage is pretty good. So you get to add that in, then you just tack on all the other more effects. You've got the more melee physical damage here. Later I'll be running the damage on full life support for more damage when on full life. Probably added fire damage. I haven't looked at all the support gems and have to do the research to confirm things, but yeah, then you just go around smashing face. So I like that, because normally, yeah, I go with the big two-hander, and he looks really cool and badass, but I wanted something a little different this time, so one-handed thingamabob over here, and it seems to be okay. Again, solo self-found. I have not found a decent main hand weapon at any point, but it's okay. You can craft one and clearly get enough DPS. So offhand-wise, I'm just going to be looking for things that add stats. This offhand weapon is only giving me accuracy and lightning, and potentially the increased stun duration, but all the added damage only applies to attacks with this actual weapon, so it doesn't actually change anything in the main hand. I'm not going to care about the accuracy later on, because now if you're going swords, because swords tend to have all the increased accuracy stuff, and some of the mods have even more accuracy rating over here, for example, you tend to have really good accuracy with swords. Obviously, you're not going to use Sunder with swords. You'll be using, I don't know, I think people go like just cleave builds and things like that, so that could still work. Hell, I could still switch over to something like that. I haven't committed really anything to an axe Sundery kind of build. So yeah, but because you don't have any innate accuracy rating, and it's kind of a pain to itemize for that, with something like axes or maces, what you will probably pick up, and in fact what I will be picking up, is Resolute Technique over here. So my hits can't be evaded, so I can't miss. I think there might still be chance, like some enemies might have dodge or block effects or something like that, but I can't just like miss from having poor accuracy versus high evasion, for example. On the other hand, I never deal critical strikes, but that'll be okay. So it means I don't have to worry about stressing about taking any nodes that increase critical strike rating, and I'm not using daggers or anything like that, so that's perfectly fine as well. So in terms of the tree progression, over here there's a really good life node. So I mean, I started as a duelist, and the reason I started as a duelist is because I'm going to be taking the Gladiator Ascension class, which gives you some cool two-handed weapon stuff, including a fair amount of built-in block. So it's more defensive. Like if you did go the Marauder route, you could do a lot more straight-up damage, but I think this is going to be an interesting defensive build, and it's going to force me to do slightly different decisions. I forgot, I got to put a jewel socket in there. I leveled it at some point when I was out smashing things, but I didn't actually put it in there. If I recall correctly, I do actually have a jewel. Oops, that is the wrong tab for that one. Yeah, so the lightning damage doesn't help, but 11% increased melee damage is going to be something for now. Hopefully we can find some good jewels later on. So I've got that. I've got a jewel slot kit here, which I'm just using for that unique that you get as a, Act 2 quest reward. So yeah, life. See, physical damage with dual wielding. It doesn't matter that I don't use the second weapon. That's not a big deal. Down here, bunch of life. I'm not entirely sure everything I'm going to pick up. Like, there's a ton of good life nodes over here in this direction. I've got things semi-planned out, but I haven't really locked it in. There's all the great, like, Heart of Oak over here. Primal Spirit's not bad for mana regen, because I don't think I'm going Blood Magic this time, so we'll have to see exactly what my mana regen situation is going to be like. It's not too bad once you start getting itemized, but and with running Clarity, I might be able to, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, and then I'm going to pick up the axe stuff over here, which is interesting because it's got a chance to bleed. There's a couple of things. Like, I'm actually wondering if an ailment-based build might be really fun and really viable. I don't know if it's as good in a... That's a fuck ton of armor right now. There's no life. I really need the 4 sockets, and I don't think I'm going to spend currency to do that right now. But that is a lot of armor right now. Yeah, I think maybe like when you get better geared and some currency, then there's no reason to keep this around, right? Then I might look into, another character that's all built on like some of the more ailment stuff. Like there's some interesting extra bleed and burn and things like that. They rebalanced how they eliminated the ability to double dip on your damage over time effects, as far as I know. Which was sort of a nerf to a lot of the ailments. I mean, it was, but at the same time, I believe they were able to buff other aspects and add a little bit more flexibility there. So it might be, maybe less crazy than it was before, but it might be a lot of fun. I still have to enter the belly of the beast? Oh, right, yes, I do, because we can do that. But I can, in theory, get a reward over here. I don't know what she offers. It's not the golem. Is it just a ring or something? Oh, a support gem. Do I want to go multi-strike? I might. I don't know. It means a lot more sort of standing still. The DPS goes up a lot. So multi-strike, you just attack twice in a row, but at a very high speed. Effectively, what it is just a 75% more melee attack speed gem that forces you to always attack twice in a row. It also deals less damage. And right now, with my mana being not the greatest, I don't think it makes sense. I don't think you have to pay for both casts, though. I think it does the animation twice, but it's 180. I don't know. We'll leave it for now. We'll get back to it. So let's go back to go into the belly of the beast. I feel like there was another gem I was going to pick up. I mean, at some point I got to figure out all my like secondary sockets and stuff. Now, one thing I want to do is I do want to go and do the Labyrinth real soon, so that I can get my Ascension class, because there's some pretty potent stuff to get there right away. The only reason I haven't done it is because I was trying to get a decent pair of gloves. Every time I level up, I just check the vendor for gloves and then try to enchant it and hope I get something halfway decent. I mean, you're going to do the next level Labyrinth not too far into the future, and you can do a secondary enchantment on there. But you also get a chance to, do your helmet instead? And it'd be better to do that. So I would prefer a pair of gloves that I feel that I'm going to use for a little while before I go in there. What's the stats on that? Armor and evasion. It might be worth doing a little roll on that. That's a dead end. So I haven't done any of the Harbinger maps yet. People are saying they're pretty kick-ass, though. So we're going to check that out. I do have some decent... Well, the boots aren't great, the ones I've got, but they've got a lot of movement speed. I'd have to start like recrafting something if I get something with stats and no movement speed. And I've gotten very few masters, shockingly few masters. I don't have my my hideout yet. Maybe that's not not having the hideout at level 38 might not be the craziest, but I've gotten very few. I'm like very far away from getting a hideout, and it's too bad because I'd like to start doing some crafting soon. Sometimes I feel like I've gotten really good drops in some of these runs, and others not at all. So I'm having to rely on a lot of self-crafting. Oh, just because I know someone's always going to ask. I'm using the Never Sink filter. Although, it's worth noting that I'm using semi-strict, which I tend to prefer. Although, at the start of the league, probably you just want to go with the regular. But for some reason, they added to the semi-strict, they made it so that Scrolls of Wisdom are hidden by default, which seems a little crazy to me. So I like the slightly more aggressive filtering of semi-strict, but I went into their filter blade site and re-enabled Scrolls of Wisdom. I left them pretty small, but... Early on like this, I still need quite a few scrolls. So I don't want to get spammed by like 1,000,000 drops, but I want that. I guess I'm going to reset you to here, actually. So I use the totem in here as an extra little filler. The totem that I'm using right now is just like extra attack speed and a little bit of smashing. And actually, I should look into probably tweaking that, but you know, it helps out a little. It's not like I'm having much in the way of problems, so I haven't stopped thinking like I'm not going to spend like a half an hour like retweaking my entire character and figuring out exactly what the optimal thing is right now. I'm just going to be like, well, as long as I can keep smashing the shit out of things pretty quick, let's keep doing that, and then we'll reorganize things later on when we start to hit a bit of a wall or don't feel like we're leveling quite as fast. Smash. Oop, did not one-shot those guys. So yeah, that's about it. I do intend to pick this up again when I hit... Well, I might redo all the new acts as videos. It'll depend on exactly what my schedule is going to allow. Because Poe's not... Plenty of people watch the videos, but it's not, it's not as much as some of the primary games on the channel. So I want to make sure that people aren't being, you know, denied some of their favorite games in exchange for something that I have a lot of fun playing, and plenty of people like watching, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm like the ideal person to produce Path of Exile content here. And we've done a fair amount of it in the past, and I don't want anyone to get like too sick or tired of this kind of stuff. So it might not be a full playthrough of everything up through to Act 8, which we did in the beta, but what I can definitely see happening is, at the very least, I'll do a full playthrough of Acts 9 and 10, because that is all new content that people have not seen. I wonder how... I should be fine. This is normal piety. I don't have maxed out resistances, although I think I have maxed fire, but I think that's probably it. How long did she do that? That seems longer than usual. There you go. Okay, solo self-found, no good drops, no trading, and yet we're doing okay. Again, it is normal, but yeah, all you gotta do is... That, I guess, is one thing that's nice. While I think that physical attack people are more item dependent than casters, although maybe I'm completely on crack because of that, you can at least craft a relatively decent weapon with ease if you haven't gotten any. I mean, it's never going to compare to, you know, a rare that has attack damage bonuses, because you're going to have like tons more mods in addition to just the attack damage. And in particular, you'd like something that also had just flat attack damage, not just percentage. That's the god whatever. It's like prefix or suffix or whatever it is. Because the percentage multiplier does, like, so if you've got something that's like, you know, adds an extra 30 physical damage and adds an extra 30% physical damage, as an example, the 30% gets applied, as far as I know, after the flat 30, so it's like, it's really, really, really good. And I think the 30 gets multiplied by all your increased physical damage, blah, 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 blah. Tomahawk might be something. Jeff Sprax. I mean, they're a little lower level, I think. I might as well pick up the sword as well, just to check for stats. Because, okay, so I'm 50 to 83. That's got some added elemental damage and the bleed. Oh, 62 and all the lightning. I can still crit right now, so let's see. 2266. Oh, that went down. Because I don't have as many modifiers for the non-physical damage, and that goes down even lower. So no, the best source of damage is still this axe over here. This one I'm wearing now. Because of all my multipliers to physical damage. And I wouldn't want to use any of these offhand. Nope, that's not helpful at all. Wow, that's... Yeah, no, that doesn't help at all. Increased attack speed. Is there any chance that's global? 2266. 2473. I don't know. Because, yeah, so, Okay, with Sunder, the damage per second stat, again, it's a little bit weird because it should only use my main hand stats. And my main hand stats don't change at all. But the attacks per second do. Did they actually look faster? I can't really tell the difference. And that is the DPS of my Sunder. It might be factoring in the bleed chance. But I mean, it's a 10% increased attack speed. I'm gonna have to assume... No, because the main hand attack speed isn't changing. Oh, it is. Hold on. Main hand attack speed modifier goes from +8 to +34%. From the 10% increased attack speed. So it must be doing that. I don't have my clarity anymore. I actually don't have a socket for it anymore. I mean, it's probably fine. I don't know if I care about it leveling up, but I guess I'll put it in there for now. Just so I don't accidentally sell it. And then the golem adds more damage. Yeah, so, it's going to be a little trickier than expected to itemize here. Oh, hello, Piety. Yeah, I got to find all the body parts. And it is odd and still very poorly identified which things are global and local. And alt-clicking doesn't show it. And even my my po-trade macro, which gives me a little bit more information about the item, doesn't indicate what's global and what's local. And normally for things like a weapon, anything that adds damage or crit or whatever is local only to the weapon, unless it says global for some reason. Just like armor, if you have a piece of armor that says plus 10% more armor or increased armor, that only applies to that armor by itself, not all your armor on your character. On the other hand, if oops, that's the guy I can't kill. On the other hand, if it's on a piece of gear that's not normally there, like for example an amulet that says 10% increased armor, then that affects all your armor because the amulet itself doesn't have that stat, so it's a global thing. But I mean, unless you know that, it's really hard to be sure about how these things affect one another. So I don't know. So it's a little less clear for me here with this build, and I'm still not 100% convinced that the Sunder damage is accurate, but I'm gonna have to trust that it is. Maybe someone in the comments will be able to clarify. But it must be that increased attack speed being global from that item. I also believe that I think I mentioned this before, that the accuracy rating, I believe, is global as well. All right. I don't really care what circle I'm in, as long as I'm only in one. I think I'm in the I do less damage circle right now. Now I think things have changed. I think I'm in the I take more damage circle, but yep, it definitely feels that way. Hello. You might be relevant. Okay, well, we know that's crap. No, you're not relevant. Because you're a claw. Hello, Wild Slash. Well, I got another unique. It's not a useful one. I mean, it's pretty common to get non-useful uniques. I'm partially wondering if I should prioritize getting to Tireless. I mean, the health is good, and the cheaper skills is going to be good considering I don't have any regen. I mean, I'm certainly heading in this direction anyway. I'm probably going to go through there, and I think I'm going to go around back to the mace stuff. Survivability is pretty good. Anyway, I think I'm going to put a cut in here. I'm just going to keep clearing the end of Act 4, and then, I don't know, we might pick this up again in Act 5. We'll see. Thanks for watching. See you next time.